Hello and welcome to quick adjustment. There you go. Hello, welcome to an English guy watching wrestling. I'm the English guy, Nick. Welcome. We're going to be reviewing in this video the latest episode of AEW Dark, which happened on the 26th of January 2021. And this week's episode was 16 matches, which is, I think, the most AEW Dark have ever done. Crazy as it sounds, it's absolutely true. But we've got a lot to cover, so let's get straight into it. Opening match was Miro versus one of my favourite AEW Dark wrestlers, Fuego del Sol, who is still winless, and I kind of absolutely love Fuego del Sol. And Miro, of course, being the big Bulgarian brute, as I like to call him. This was a short match, as I half expected, but I give credit where it's due. Fuego del Sol did get a little bit of offense in more than I anticipated, and almost hit the Tornado DDT, and it was a good showing from him, obviously going after the bigger guy by attacking his legs. Smart strategy, but Miro, if you've seen him in AEW, you know he's just a monster. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. But short match, decent opener, I liked it. And Miro got the win with his version of the camel clutch. I still can't remember what the movie is called that he calls it. But the win with the camel clutch is how this one starts. It's how the win, sorry, I should say. This match was probably my joint match of the night. Jurassic Express of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy took on Aaron Solo and Lee Johnson. Now, as of late, AEW Dark Wrestlers have been starting to get a little bit more offense in, show a little bit more. Lee Johnson and Aaron Solo, not the first time as a tag team, very impressive. This was a very good tag match, to be honest. I always like watching Jurassic Express. You kind of know what you're going to get with them, and it works a treat. And this one, a lot of different offensive moves from both teams, and certain things you don't see from both teams either. And this was what really made this match stand out for me. And as an overall tag match, it was great. I thought this was one of the matches that you have to see a younger team like Aaron Solo, Lee Johnson get to push themselves further and further. And one day, hopefully get that first win on AEW Dark, because they've never had a win as a tag team. But this was a very good match, to be honest. I thought it was going to be good on card because of both teams. I know I've seen them before. They're very, very good. This was no exception. This was a cracking tag match. I loved it. So this was definitely co-match of the night. Other match of the night. Obviously, we're going to get to it a bit. Match after that was Terrence and Terrell Hughes, the twin brothers and sons of Devon Dudley versus SCU. Now, another tag match. And I give credit. This was a very good tag match. I liked it. Again, a great match between two very good teams, and not the first appearance for the twin brothers of Terrence Terrell Hughes, but I wouldn't mind seeing them on AEW Dark a bit more. I think they're really starting to show more potential. Like I said, AEW Dark wrestlers that you don't really see in Dynamite are starting to show a little bit more, and I think, in all seriousness, they put on their best performance to date against, obviously, the long-time tenured veteran team of SCU, and I really can't get over how impressive the finisher of the SCU is, sorry, and that's the SCU best Meltzer driver ever. And it's still the fact that it's still such an impressive move, but overall, that's why I ended the match, of course. But this was a great tag match between both teams, and great to see some unique moves that you don't really see either team do, and for the better. I really liked this match. It was very, very good. And again, went from one tag match that was really good to another tag match that was really good. Tag team wrestling has been a long time staple of AEW, and it proved twice in a row that two great tag matches. It was great. This was a good match, and definitely worth watching. After the last match, I thought, is this going to live up? It wasn't as good as Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus versus Aaron Solo Johnson, but still, great tag match. Next match up was Umbardo and Casey Navarro, I'll get it right, versus the Butcher and the Blade. Now, this was the tag team debut of Umbardo and Casey Navarro, and the Butcher and the Blade, of course, one of the most hard-hitting, I wouldn't say hard-hitting, but meanest-looking, shall we say, tag teams in all of AEW, and this was a short match, in all seriousness, and I like Butcher and the Blade, I really do, and I think they're underrated as a tag team, to be completely honest, because their roughhouse style, I can't help but really like. And of course, as I said, they get the win in a shortish match. Oh, sorry, bad day. There we go, sorry about that. Right, but this was a short but fun tag match. Again, third tag match in a row. Butcher and the Blade get a fairly quick win, I should say. But no, it was a fun little match, so that was that match. Next up was the other match of the night, which was between Rey Fenix and Baron Black. Now, Baron Black, I've seen before the AEW wrestlers started to get a bit more of a offense in. He's actually been very impressive, and this was a great match and some superb wrestling from Baron Black in this match. And my thoughts on Rey Fenix I've expressed before that he is not human. The man is just insanely talented and probably one of the, if not the best luchador alongside Rey Fenix in the world right now. He's just insane. But this was a superb match. I thought both men really went out there and had a great match. Easily Baron Black's best AEW outing to date, and some really good offense from him. And both men just went out there and shined. I will say this, Rey Fenix was really good in this match, but not his best match I've ever seen. But that's not a criticism, because I know that he is they were playing off the storyline. He's a little bit disheartened after what happened to Penta last week on Dynamite. But he really shined. He really did great in this match. But Baron Black, I thought, was the star here. He put on his best performance to date, and overall was just an excellent match. This was really up there with AEW dark matches that could really show what people can do. It showed what Baron Black can do. It's hoping it continues. So, thumbs up to Baron Black, and of course, thumbs up to Rey Fenix. Next match was Shanna versus Kylan King. And Kylan King, I've always thought, again, is a little bit underused in AEW. Of course, if she's wrestling somewhere else on the day, then fine. But this was a decent short match, actually. One thing I do like about Kylan King is her height. She's one of the tallest women competitors in AEW, and she used it to good effect now and then. She didn't get the chance to use it in this match. And this is another short match that Shanna won with her. I don't know how long she's been using it, but a Tiger Suplex pin as a finisher. But she won that, and short match. Fine, nothing wrong with that. Next up was AEW debut of Brooke Havoc. And if you know who Brooke Havoc is, she trains under the the Nightmare Factory. And this was her first ever match. So, obviously, big opportunity to make a debut, especially in AEW, against Dr. Britt Baker. Now, this was a decent back and forth match, actually. Brooke Havoc got more offense than I anticipated, and that's good, though. The fact she was able to show what she can do. Britt Baker is seriously one of the most reliable female performers in all of AEW. The first woman to ever sign to AEW, of course. And it's the first match I've seen her for a while. I mean, she's been doing the waiting room skits and interviews on Dynamite and AEW Dark. But first match I've seen her for a while, she did very well, of course. And Brooke Havoc's first match, she did fine. And, you would never guess she's only been trained for like 4 months, but she did fine. Both women did a fine job, and Brooke Baker won with the lockjaw, which I still think is one of the coolest submission moves in all wrestling. So well done. Next match was Abaddon versus Vert Vixen. I can never pronounce that name right because I've tried it before, but I think that's how you pronounce it, Vert Vixen. Abaddon's first match in AEW since she lost against Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship, and an incredibly short match, to be honest with you. I think this is the kind of match that Abaddon needed to show a bit more strength in what she obviously after a loss, and because her only 2 losses in AEW have both been to Hikaru Shida. So of course, still keeping an impressive record, and this is a very short match. But it's the kind of match that Abaddon needed to build more, I would say, confidence since the loss, if that makes any sense. But that was a short match. Abaddon won with the, I think what she calls it, the cemetery drop, that's it. That's her finishing move. The kind of like a version of the Widow's Peak, remember that finisher. That was first time I ever saw Widow's Peak on Saturday. I thought, wow, that's a heck of a finisher. Never seen that before. But basically, version of that move, Abaddon picked to win in an incredibly quick match. Next match was the shortest match on the whole card. Santana Ortiz versus Ryzen and Mike Verana. And I'm just going to say it. 1 minute 20 seconds is how long this match lasted. Santana Ortiz won the match in a very quick squash. I don't think Mike Werner tagged in the match or Rising tagged in the match the whole time. So it was Santana Ortiz. Basically, just one of them, and the other guy didn't get a chance to get in the ring. But 1 minute 20, short match. Santana Ortiz win the match. There you go. Next match was Tay Conte versus Davien, if that's how you pronounce her name, but it's a tricky one. This was her debut against a woman wrestler who's starting to show a lot more in AEW at Tay Conte, and this was a good match, actually. Again, a really good example of how Tay Conte is showing what she can do as a wrestler, and she showed that very well in this match, I think. Not as good as a matchup on her last AEW Dark appearance, but this was a good match, actually, from her, and Davien didn't get a chance to get much offense in, but what she got in was absolutely fine. But this was Tay Conte once again showing what she can do and won the match. So, there you go. Next match was Ray Jazz, that's a great name, versus the Dark Order's 10. Now, this was Ray Vance's AEW Dark debut, and the start of the match was -1 on commentary. Now, this is not something I would do very often, but of course, -1 on commentary, and he was as entertaining. He did it for a couple of matches, the commentary, but it's just good to see after the whole unfortunate passing of Brody Lee that the Dark Order have, by default, become faces, but they're playing up to it, and that's the best part. They're still just so entertaining, and -1 is so entertaining as well. But again, this was a good short match, a very short match again. Preston Vance won with the, I forget what's his finishing move is called. But no, Dark Order 10 won the match. Good match, decent match. But I couldn't help but absolutely love -1 on commentary. But he won the match. There we go. Next match was Danny Limelight, who has become one of the AEW Dark's best performers, versus Sean Maluto, who is again a guy I rate quite well. A short match again, the second shortest match of the night, 1 minute 47 seconds. Danny Limelight won the match, and Danny Limelight is improving. I think he's getting better and better as AEW gets a chance to highlight him more. Short match, Danny Limelight gets the win. The right call after his 6-man tag match on Dynamite last week. Next matchup was Ivelisse versus Jasmine Allure. Now, talk about reliable female performers. Ivelisse, of course, long-time veteran. It's Jasmine Allure, who did a fine job as well. And she, this was her best performance today. She's done a couple of appearances in AEW Dark, I'll say that, but this was her best performance today. And it was really good to see Ivelisse do things I've never seen her do before in the ring. Some unique submission moves, different version of a finisher, which I forget the name of, I'll admit that. But it was a good turn of pace on how things were done by Ivelisse. So again, when you see things like that, you can't help but feel cool, different. And again, decent women's match, short match, but a good match, fun match. And then the last match was the main event, was Jake St. Patrick making his AEW debut. I don't know much about him, versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, I'm not going to say Powerhouse Hobbs is the most powerful man in AEW, but if he isn't, he's definitely up there with near the top because he is ridiculously powerful. But Powerhouse Hobbs, again, was doing things I've never seen him do before, and I still think has an incredible spine buster. And, sorry, scratch my leg. Anyway, he was doing stuff I've never seen him do either. He's starting to adapt a little bit more, do one or two different things. And when you see wrestlers do that, it just shows them they're willing to improve and improve and improve. Decent short match again, and this was the main event. And I think this was Powerhouse Hobbs' ability to show that he can get better and better as well. decent fun match, and he won. And I'm pretty sure, I don't think I've missed a match out. Oh, got the wrong way here. Just to make sure I haven't, because I don't want to. Anyway, because I did this quicker than anticipated. Then again, some of the matches were short, so that's probably a good reason why. Nope. Nope. No, that's it. Okay. But there you go. Actually, very good to see AEW Dark wrestlers as a whole that don't really get a chance to be on Dynamite show a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I think it's going to be not be too long before one or two will get a bit more of a push. Obviously, Danny Limelights had it, and who's hoping to see it happen. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for another review of AEW Dark. So, until then.